This patch burn grazing being on Chippewa Prairie, a very high quality community, we're very interested in looking at what is fire doing to the plant community, but what is fire grazing interaction doing to the plant community. And not only from the broad scale, but kind of down to the individual, more conservative plant species. They want to have enough statistical analysis, if you will, power to be able to say through time, what are we doing to some of the more conservative plant species. So a tremendous amount of monitoring. Now we have 5 different burn blocks, 5 different, if you will, patch burn graze units. And within every one of them we have 5 exclosures that you see behind me, 20-meter circular rings. But what you also don't see is another, if you will, plot, paired plot right next door that doesn't have an exclosure. So on the one behind me, we ran a fire through it. The cows don't have access. We can see what the prairie would have looked like without the grazing interaction. And then the paired plot next to it, the cows were able to graze it down. So we have 50 of these exclosures throughout the prairie. And then on top of that, they have, I think, 330 some other line transects throughout this entire prairie landscape. Within this exclosure and on the pair plot, there's like a line transect, and then I believe there's 1 meter square and half-meter square plots that they're doing a lot of real detailed plant measurements. The beauty here is that we had monitoring before with our burn rotations, and now we're going to have a lot of monitoring with our patch burn graze rotations. So that's a lot of power, and I think that's a data set that's going to be real useful. Looking at a whole different, what they call adaptive management. We're saying we're doing certain things on the landscape. We have certain set of objectives. Well, are we meeting those objectives? We would come out here once a week, or for sure once every 2 weeks, Joe Blasek, Pete Bauman, myself, and we'd walk this grazed pasture, and we were always going up to exclosure, looking in, saying, what are we seeing inside the exclosure? What are we seeing on the burn patch, and kind of compare and contrast. And we know some things where you would see them in the exclosure and outside and vice versa. And there were some real positives, and there were some that where you were kind of scratching your head a little bit. Inside the exclosures, milkweed was chewed down, and were deer getting in there? Insects? We don't know. We're looking more closely. Yeah, we're picking those things up. So that was something we weren't doing before.